Welcome to the 15th episode of the Illegal Use of Hands to the Face Football Podcast. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing great, Hayden. How are you?
Tremendous. Can you believe we're at episode 15?
It's really hard to believe, man. We've made it this far, and the draft is still really far ways away too. We got a lot more of these analysis videos to pump out.
Positions to go through and
Yeah.
hopefully just increase our knowledge and come up
Yes.
with even better analysis every position. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we started
I
with
want
those great punters and kickers, and we'll just be going up from here.
those punters and kickers are gonna make us masters in the seventh round when some team decides to draft one of them and be like, oh, that guy's a gem. That guy's a gem.
Did you see the 5'5", like 300-pound kicker who hit a game-winning field goal for like a
Yeah.
D2 team the other day or something?
Yes, that's awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be going in the draft. I think he was only a sophomore.
Yeah,
So,
you're right, but it'll be a first-round pick 2 years from now, so that's okay.
exactly. First since Jano.
Yeah.
Uh,
You interested in these corners? You like them? What's the
uh,
initial thought on them?
yeah, I think it's a really decent class. Not as much confusion over who's in the top of the class as there were with safeties, where no one had a clue.
Yeah,
So that was nice.
it seems slightly more organized. It doesn't seem like one guy has undrafted and the other guy has first overall pick. And even we didn't. Even we, like, talking to each other directly, had something like that. So if you didn't hear that, you should definitely go check out the safety episode. um, but you got any news for us that happened over the past few days?
Yes. First of all, the a New York Giants co-owner, John Mara, said that the Giants roster is good enough to make the playoffs. What are your thoughts on that?
He's talking about in the division they're in. There's potential. If the Cowboys fall apart as they usually do, the Eagles just they'll need to like have something change this season before they're too competitive in that division. And then I guess he's also hoping that Taylor Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick both get injured for the Washington football team. No, I don't know. I still think it's the same here. I think it's that I'm really not too confident in any of these teams to have like dominant seasons in the NFC East, but I would say that Washington is still my favorite, and probably Dallas second, then Philadelphia third, and yeah, the Giants are last in that conversation for me. So I wouldn't say that there's that much difference though between. No, they're not a good roster. I don't like them as much as the other guys. It's just they got some luck last year to keep them in it until late in the season.
Yeah, I'm happy Kenny Galladay got a bag, but I mean I don't know if it's much of an upgrade going from Detroit to the Giants.
He downgraded at quarterback. Went to a bigger market and got paid, but he got a worse quarterback. So I mean, but Galladay is a great receiver. We love Galladay. Big Galladay fans, right?
Yes, yeah, he is. He's a star. It's just. I mean, so is Danny Dimes. I mean, it's just
Yeah, the quarterback of the New York team has to be a star. I mean, look at him. It's Daniel Jones and it's Sam Darnold. I mean, who can you name anyone more popular in the NFL than those two guys?
I mean, maybe Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I can't even do it.
I
So
mean,
hard.
if you really want to play semantics here, maybe Paxton Lynch gives the two of them a run for their money.
Good
But
lord. How long is Paxton Lynch? When's the last time he was on a roster?
he was on the Jets. That was the last time he was on a roster.
Which was last season?
Uh,
2 seasons ago? Last season?
two seasons ago, maybe.
Oh boy. Wow. That's cool. I mean, that's interesting to take note of at least.
Yeah, he's a free agent right now,
Of
so
course.
he's not even with the team.
Moving
In
on
other
from
news,
the Giants.
yeah, in other news, the Chiefs signed Jaron Reed after the Seahawks cut him. for a 1 year deal worth 7 million.
Huh. All right, I guess. Um, I'm not too familiar with Jaron Reed, to be completely honest. I know that Seattle thought he was pretty good, or at least I thought they did, but apparently not because they just
Uh,
cut him.
they did. It's just he wanted a contract extension and to get paid, and Seattle is Seattle, so they weren't gonna do that. I don't know if they're strapped for cap or not. Probably every team is. So that probably played into a big factor. But I mean, the Chiefs somehow found $7 million to pay him.
Yeah, no, I don't think Seattle was actually that bad compared to a lot of teams. Like they may have even been positive at the start of free agency.
Yeah,
Like actually had money to spend. Even though everybody was spending money somehow. They actually had money to spend before they screwed over their entire roster or whatever.
yeah. And in other D tackle news, Danny Shelton signed with the Giants as well. So
Okay, that's scary. Never mind. They're the best team in the East now.
my rankings have completely changed.
Yes.
Um,
No. We love Danny Shelton though.
yes,
Danny
Danny
Shelton's
Shelton's great.
Danny Shelton's been. I don't know if I've ever actually seen him do anything on the field and been like, "Wow, that's impressive." I just know that we've we've kind of liked him for a while for no reason.
He was dominant in Mutt.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the only reason.
Um,
Danny
it,
Shelton stuffing the run game.
and I got two last things. This one being George Kittle said, "I want Jimmy Garoppolo to be my quarterback." After the Niners made that trade to get the third overall pick. What do you think of that?
Didn't he also send out a tweet that said, "I'm not
Wow.
no,
Yeah.
no,
I
I'm not the one in the front office." Yeah.
no.
Well, I mean
I
that's
just work
still
here. I don't know what's going on.
exactly. That's still the truth. I mean, yeah, sorry. I did misinterpret it slightly, but I feel like the concept of what he's saying is still the same. So,
Hmm.
um I mean, yeah, he's not in charge, so it really doesn't matter what he wants. If they don't want to continue with Garoppolo, then it's not really his decision to make. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I love their bromance they have, so it's gonna be tough to see that separate when they bring in either Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Or I mean, the talk now has been Mac Jones. They're
Listen,
going
the
to get
best quarterback in the draft should go in the top 3.
the most pro ready. That's what they're saying. The Niners are gonna get the most pro ready quarterback in the draft, and that's Mac Jones.
Listen, I mean, how many other guys? I mean, no one has ever completed a higher percentage of passes in college football than him. You know that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yep, that
So,
uh
I mean, completion percentage. Lots of people love it, and
yep, that's the only stat that matters. I mean, look at Josh Allen.
it is. It is. I mean, well, if you want to be honest, when did everybody start considering him good? When his completion percentage went up.
When
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Mm-hmm.
was
It
gonna
is
say
the only part.
when the Bills started winning a lot of games.
No, no, no,
Um,
no, no. Discount that. Don't worry about that. We could, if he completed 100% of his passes and we lost every game next year, people would be like, best quarterback in the league.
he's the new Stafford.
It's the team holding him down.
And then lastly, this is also in draft quarterback news. Peter King asked Urban Meyer if they're like moving towards like confirming Trevor Lawrence as their pick at number one, and he said that we're moving in that direction.
What is how do you not just say yes? Like what kind of answer is that? That just leaves room for like that's a bad answer. I don't like that answer. I'm not saying anything else. I don't like that answer, though.
Well, I mean, you can't rule out the Zach Wilson play at one, so I think
Yeah,
he's just leaving the door open, just has a little crack in it.
yeah, but he said that like he should have just said we're not sure yet, or something like that. If he doesn't want to confirm anything, he shouldn't have said we're moving towards that. Like, it's like, oh, okay, so
Yeah, that Lawrence kid, he's been slowly moving up our big board. He
yeah,
he he
yeah, like
made
what?
BPI at number one.
Yeah, what are you talking about? All right. So I hear
Look,
you're pretty well versed in this cornerback class we got here.
I'm versed in I've watched around 20 guys. I'm versed in the top ish top half of the guys. Yeah.
Okay, so I did 12, so good job to you.
Oh,
Also, I just did the top 12 from the CBS big board website. CBS, sorry, yeah, what just 2021 NFL draft prospect rankings. I just did their top 12 guys. That's all I did.
all
Just
right.
just just so you know, that's how I figured out the top 12 guys to watch. And from there, I made a top 10. So I dropped two guys off.
Alrighty. Do you want to start us off at 10?
Um, I can. I want to. Yes, actually, I will.
Okay.
So, but I will say one thing that was kind of funny. My guy that's ranked at my bottom, the last guy I watched, and basically the reason I decided to stop watching was because I saw this guy named Sean Wade from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to get lucky sometimes, and I don't like the Buster Screenish type vibes he's given off. So I was like, I think if this is where we're at the cornerback position, I'm good here. I'll stop here. So that's the reason I stopped watching, because you know of the love for Buster Screen. And then moving in at number 10 for me is Paulson Adebo from Stanford. He seems like a jump ball shutdown guy. Like whenever it seemed like a lot of the like plays that were like, oh, that's impressive, is like they'd throw a jump ball up towards him, and it'd just be like his size and wingspan would help him be able to swat the ball down. And then he plays pretty tight coverage, and he's got great hands. And obviously because of the size thing I said earlier, his reach on routes like when it's an in break and he's behind the guy, he's able to reach in front and swat it down pretty well. But I don't know, just didn't flash too much for me. So he's kind of just in this tier. I put like 4 tiers of guys here, and he's in the bottom tier with the other two guys below him that didn't make the top 10 of just meh. Like I'm not that interested.
Yeah. I had Paulson Adebo at 20 on my list, so he was last for me. Um, I I do like his measurables, and he does get pretty physical during routes. He's a great tackler. Um, he like always looking for the ball. He never turns around, never has his back to it. Just whenever I saw him pressed up on the line or even off the line, and he would try to like stick him with his, he's got long arms, so he's trying to stick him with one so he can get off. And if that didn't work, he was just done. He was out of the play. The guy was wide open, and I just didn't think he was fast enough. There were times in man when he was off a lot where he was keeping up with guys, so I don't know, like he just doesn't have good chasing speed, I guess is a way to describe it, because he can keep up with the guys. I just didn't think he was fast there. Like he's got the measurables, I just don't think he's athletic enough, I guess would be the word.
Yeah, and what's kind of strange is like a lot of these guys this year are actually over 6 feet tall. Like actually the
Hmm.
majority of them, which is start like the high rated guys at least, which is kind of weird. That's not something we usually see. So it's almost like if you really there's not much of a reason to value that this year, just because
Hmm.
so many of them already have that trait to them anyways.
Yeah, that's what I noticed in almost all these guys. I was like, whoa, you're over 6 feet tall, Joe. You're over 6 feet tall. You're over 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
That's
it's
wild.
it's different. It's definitely not something we're used to seeing. Who's your number 10? Some guy I've
My
never
number.
heard of?
No, my number 10 is Ambry Thomas out of Michigan. He's 6 foot 180. Uh, what I had to say about him was he doesn't lose any speed when he flips his hips. It seems like he just only knows one speed, and that's 100%, which is awesome.
So you're telling me he backpedals as fast as he sprints?
Yeah, that's what that's what it seems like. He doesn't lose a step when he flips his hips.
Well, that's pretty
Uh,
cool.
um, and with that, his man coverage is phenomenal. But his in zone, he's very shaky. Um, Out of all the guys I looked at, he seemed the most raw, which is why he's at 10. But he can be so good. With how fast he is, it's weird that his decisions aren't quicker. And that's just a joke. Like I can understand why his decisions aren't quicker, even though he's fast. But if your feet are that fast, why aren't you thinking faster? Um,
So you're
so
calling him
that
stupid.
no. You can work on decision making, but or learn more. Uh,
Learn more.
it's just there's times where the ball will be in the air and he just will make the wrong decision where it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to tackle this guy, and the ball will be like not even halfway to the guy yet, where it wouldn't even make any sense where you're hitting him at the same time the ball's getting there. He just had a couple of those plays, uh, and he doesn't wrap up well. Guys break out of his tackles a lot. He tries to do a lot of arm tackles and shoulder tackles that don't work. So yeah, he's at 10.
Okay. Um, my number 9. I don't know if this will be surprising because I mean, this guy's the one guy who's got an inch on everybody. And Afitu Melifonwu, who's 6'3" and 213 from Syracuse. So he's got that one extra inch on everybody. But really, the only things that I could say about him is like his size and physicality and solid tackling are really the things I take note of. I mean, there were some plays where he was making plays in the passing game, and I mean, obviously he was making some, but not to the extent that I felt like anything was much of really noteworthy. Really, at least in the passing game, and that kind of holds him back because like I said already, you've got all these other guys that have the size. So if you're looking for a size guy, I think there's a lot of better options besides him. Um, and then I think that it's a downgrade in the department of how he's actually able to cover people. But I mean, he is a tackling corner, and when I see tackling corners, I usually run the other way. Not even wow, that was unintentional. Not, that was a pun, but that was not intentional.
Uh, he's also on my list, so I'll talk about him more when I get to him. For
He's
9 for
he's
me,
actually sorry. He's in the start of the next tier though. The next tier for me is good, so it's not like terrible. He's in the good tier for me.
yeah. At 9 for me, I have Greg Newsome, the second from Northwestern. Uh, I got nothing bad to say about him. It's just when I was watching his film, I was not impressed. I guess it just he was making the routine plays, which are good plays to make, but I saw very little highlights where it's like, oh wow, he really just showed that he way better than that receiver. He's way better than that receiver. It He just showed that he's like, yeah, this guy is going to be a good number 2 corner on a team. He does not mess up. He does everything right, but it doesn't. He isn't really much of a playmaker on the defense. He doesn't create opportunities for himself. He he's a good number 2 corner on an NFL team.
Alrighty, so he's just like lacking the what would we call that? Not he doesn't have the
Moxie.
physical attributes I'm guessing necessarily, but he has
Uh,
like the high level football IQ,
yes,
or at least he uses technique really well or whatever.
yes, yeah. That's great
Basically
way to
it.
put it.
All
Hmm.
right. Um, my next guy to close out my good tier is Eric Stokes at number 8 from Georgia. Um, Kind of the first few plays I saw from him were like big plays, and I was like, oh, I'm excited. And then it was like, oh, well, there was only a few of them. But the two flashes I saw and a few of them kind of got me excited. Makes a lot of tackles in the backfield, and he's really good at
Hmm.
covering slant routes, which you don't see a lot. That one was pretty interesting to me. Actually, I should be able to see what his height is right here. Yeah, so he's another 6'1", 185. So wow, kind of light though for his height. Oh, I guess Tyson Campbell is as well. I forget how light some cornerbacks are sometimes. Um, yeah, but I mean that's kind of basically all I had on him. He's good though.
Hmm. He's also on my list, so I'll chime in more on him when I get to him. At 8 for me is the small school guy out of D2 Central Arkansas, Robert Rochelle. Uh, he is 6'2", 195. So
Jeez,
has the same
even the
has
D2 kid is 6'2".
yeah. So he still has the same size as all the other guys, and with that 6'2" height, the dude's hops are insane. He could in basketball jump out of the gym. It's insane. He and being in D2, it's the same thing that I had to say about the D2 safety that was on my list in the last episode. He's just all over the place. It seems stupid to even to even put anyone out on him because he's just gonna shut him down. So, uh, I have to knock him for that because he'd probably be in my top 3 if I didn't factor in the small school aspect of everything. But he just outmuscled guys, was faster than the guys he was going up against. If the guys got their fingertips on the ball, he was gonna be breaking their fingers, punching that ball away from them. Uh, and he's just like mossing guys too with how high he's jumping. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
one of the clips that I saw of him, it was like highlights, but it was intercut with him working out, and he was doing like probably I don't uh, I don't know how big it was, but huge box jumps off of 1 foot, and it's like, yeah, okay, this dude's just showing off at this point. His legs are insane.
is he playing on the wrong side of the ball then?
Maybe, maybe.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, maybe the Bills could use him. We need a good guy to just be able to swat down some Hail Mary
Yeah,
attempts.
yeah. Just need a dude to get up there and jump.
Literally. Alrighty, number 7 for me. In my real good tier is Thomas Graham Jr. Thing I really the only thing that I could say about him that was absolutely amazing to me is how many passes like either he was able to play in a short area, so like routes that would have their final break in them before like 5 yards or say, and
Hmm.
either the pass would be incomplete or it would be like a tackle and it was weird if the guy gained like 3 yards. So it's like you've got these plays in college football where you're trying to get the ball out quick and you're trying to get these guys in space, right? Well, I mean, he's literally shutting every single one of those downs. Like you can't throw a screen near him at all. Like even if it's a 3 wide receiver set and you're trying to run like a bubble to the most inside receiver, it's not like, sorry, a trip set, not a 3 wide receiver set. Like you're trying to run a bubble to the most inside receiver and he's covering the outside guy, he's probably going to make a play 4 yards deep in the backfield tackling that guy immediately. It's just insane how quickly he gets to the ball once it's thrown short, and if he doesn't break it up he tackles guys, and often more than likely, if the pass is thrown past the line of scrimmage, it seems like it's a breakup in those situations. And if it's thrown behind the line of scrimmage at all, it's almost a guaranteed loss of yardage when it's thrown near him. It's very impressive. But besides that, really didn't see much of anything from him. Like once once the other team tends to go further down the field against him. So I don't really know. That's kind of weird to just not see that type of stuff at all. So that's maybe potentially worrisome because it's just like, if I'm not seeing it, does that mean that that's when it went poorly? And yeah, that's just what I'll leave it at. But I mean, I was really impressed with what he was able to do in a short area.
Uh, yeah, I said to you before we started recording that he's one of the guys that I kind of tuned out on when I was watching towards the end of covering all these corners. But like I told you, I got nothing but good things to say about him from what I saw. But again, with all these guys watching, I kind of tuned out on him a little bit.
Aw. Well, I mean, hopefully he becomes the next best corner in the league. That's all I have to say, just so that we can remember back to this moment and say, well, I mean, first you'd just downplay Hassan Nasir al-Din, like ridiculously underplay him, and he's going to become the best safety in the league. And then at the same time, Thomas Graham Jr. is going to become the best corner in the league. And just 2 episodes in a row, you're just going to be like, geez, I just discounted the 2 best players at their positions in NFL history. And it's just going to be like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, can't wait for it. Um, that's 7 for me. I got Eric Stokes from Georgia. Again, another guy that's over 6 feet tall.
They all are.
They all are.
No,
Uh,
there's two. There's two that aren't. Oh, Thomas Graham isn't either. Actually, he's only 5'11". Sorry.
yeah, so yeah, still. But he's 6'1", 185. It seemed like every interception he got, he brought it back to the house.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that was notable.
Georgia used him on special teams sometimes too. Not as a return man, but he went out there. I saw like he blocked 2 punts. One of them, he sticking to the house call machine. He returned one of those blocked punts back for a touchdown. Uh,
I saw that.
uh, it, he none of the picks that he gets are easy. He fights for all of them. He creates that opportunity for himself. He sticks with guys very well. And like you said with him with the crossing routes and slants, that he just does not let those guys get away from him. And usually those are the like crossing routes and slants. Those are the ones where receivers get open the most. And he does not get confused with that at all when he's in man. There's some times where I saw uh him where they're playing like a soft zone or whatever, like prevent defense because Georgia would be winning, and he would just mess up like like easy coverage on the sideline, and he would just focus more on the guy that's towards the middle of the field when like a team's trying to drive down, and like I keep like you want to keep the clock going. I
Yeah,
know that the college clock stops, but it's like, dude, you focus on the guy that's more towards the sideline. That's one of the only bad things I got to say about him, though.
yeah.
But
No,
he's real good.
I gotta ask you this about him. I think the video I watched, like one of the videos I watched for him, was like fastest DB in the nation or something. Like, did you get that vibe at all? Because I
Uh,
didn't. Like he had a lot of defensive touchdowns or whatever, and blocked punt return touchdowns. But like I didn't feel like he was like that fast. It was weird. Like I didn't feel that.
yeah, I didn't think he was that fast either. When I saw him on the field, and then I looked up what his 40 time was because I watched that same video too. I looked up what his 40 time was, and at his pro day, he ran a 4.25.
You see, I wouldn't.
I would no, I don't. I'm not taking
He's
into account any of
yeah,
these 40 times at their pro days because Penn State had their guys running downhill. Everyone at Penn State got a 4.3 something, except for like the one offensive lineman that they didn't decide to cheat, and they're like, yeah, this guy ran like a 5.65. It's like you're lying for
yeah.
everyone else. Why can't you lie for him and
I
just say that
mean,
he ran a 4.3 too?
no. Eric Stokes though is 6'1", 185. I mean, yeah, maybe he can run a 4.25 wearing like nothing but shorts and a tank top. But I mean, you put those pads on, that's gonna maybe like double his weight potentially. He can't be carrying all that on his back. He doesn't have the muscles to do that. Is he the?
Yes.
He's not the lightest guy on here though, is he?
No,
No,
he
he's not.
definitely isn't.
No, he's not. No, he's very close though. He's one of the lightest guys, and the guys that are closer than him are usually shorter than him, but except for Tyson Campbell, who's weird that I'm mentioning him twice before we've even got to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of which, Tyson Campbell's number 6 on my list. So he was kind of my guy that got lost in the mix. I kind of don't know really how I feel about him. He played the first two guys I watched were Caleb Farley and Patrick Surtain. So it was nice to kind of see Tyson Campbell because it feels like Georgia was willing to play a little more zone than Virginia Tech or Alabama were. So he was the first guy I saw that actually did something in zone coverage rather than just in man-to-man situations. I actually did say that I love his lightweight with his height because it allowed him to do things like run across the field to stop the Devontae Adams route, like actually maintain speed with the guy across from him. You know what I'm referring to, right? I think you do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
and then he's a great run game and short area defender. That was another weird thing about this is like I think it may have something to do with all the size of these guys, but a lot of these guys, and I think that probably is what it is they really thrive in the short area game because of their size. Because like even if they
Yes.
get beat slightly, they have like the body to like reach or extend themselves to make a play on the ball still. And that kind of maybe the weakness of the class as the whole is once you get into some further developing routes where it's actually more speed, then maybe there's some sort of threat. But I mean, it's kind of weird. It seems like just with these heights and weights, they're not normally what you see, especially with Campbell here at 6'2", 185. But I mean, if the new age receiver is gonna look anything like Devontae Smith, that's what a 6'2" cornerback is gonna need to look like. Because I don't know if they'll be able to keep up if the receivers are that lightweight.
Yeah, it would be hilarious to see like prime time one of these rookie corners going up against Devontae Smith,
Yeah, I
and
know.
they're just like jamming him at the line with one arm out, just holding him out there, and it's like a little kid trying to run. They just have his hand right on his helmet.
Yeah, no, it's weird though. It's not what I'm expecting. Like the NFL's at some point, it seems like every position is actually getting lighter. Linebackers are weighing less. Safeties. I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention to the safeties the other day,
Linebackers
but
and safeties are becoming
like the
in
same thing.
yeah, the same thing. Yeah.
And then now these corners all look lighter, or at least seemingly look lighter most of the time. A lot of them. It's like, where are we moving? Are we actually moving towards a more lightweight NFL? Because if you do that, there's going to be the one team that goes opposite the trend and is just able to dominate everybody because of the fact
Mhm.
that everybody's so lightweight.
Yep. Whatever team Derrick Henry's on, even when he's 50.
Yeah.
Just okay,
Jeez.
Derrick, run at him.
But that's all
Uh,
I got on Campbell. And
yeah.
he concludes my real good tier, and now we'll be moving into my great tier.
At 6 for me, I got Trill Williams, who has the best name in the draft. Uh, love that.
How do you
Uh,
spell that?
Trill Williams, Trill Williams.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's what I thought. Then yeah, I like it.
He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Uh, from Syracuse. And in like the first thing that I wrote in my notes after I watched some of his film is he's that dude. Like he is that dude on the field. Uh he can cover anything. But unlike Eric Stokes, the one thing he has trouble with is crossing routes. But so does every other defensive back in the NFL. So I don't know if that holds him back that much. Uh him being one of the heavier corners, it doesn't surprise me that he is very physical. Uh, Syracuse probably had the two most physical corners in college with him and Melifonwu. Just
Seems like it with those combos.
yeah, just bodying guys out there. Uh, and he made sure that like if he was gonna hit a guy, that guy was going to know that Trill Williams hit him because he put a lick on every guy he hit. And I find it funny how the NFL is like cracking down a lot on like you can't stand over a guy and flex on him after you make a play or whatever. And it seemed like in college, like these guys do it every single play and don't get a flag
Well,
called on
that's
them.
why the NFL's cracking down on it because it's like, dude, all these guys are coming from college and nobody can even get up anymore. Play clock's down to 20 and the receiver can't get up yet because the guy's still over him.
But yeah, True Williams was flexing on every dude that he hit, and I saw one play. It was in his like official highlight reel that Syracuse football put on their YouTube channel. He a guy got the first down and he still stood over him and flexed on him after he got the first down, and it was like third and long and he still hit him and flexed on him, and the guy just kept motioning first down. He's like, I don't care, I just killed you. And it was awesome, and that's why I was just like, okay, so he doesn't care, he just wants to go out there and hit guys. So Trill Williams is probably like he's not number one, but he's like my favorite out of all of
Man,
them.
I don't care. I don't care about like what's actually happening in the game. If I hit you hard enough, I win.
Yeah.
Oh
Right
boy.
now it's me versus who's ever lined up across from me, and if I hit you harder and you don't score a touchdown, I win.
Oh good lord. Oh my. Number 5 guy to kick off my great tier is really different than the rest of my top 4. Top 4 kind of all doing the same thing, but number 5 is Elijah Molden, and it's pretty obvious that everybody knows that he's um, a nickel guy, and he's gonna be that type of player when he gets to the NFL. Now, it really just comes to how much you value this position. Because if you think this is a very important position on your team, this guy could actually probably go like in I don't want to say first round. That's too generous. If you value this position enough, I could definitely see him going in the top 45. Like he's he's different than the other guys because like I said, we've got so many of these tall lengthy guys that really there's not actually that many options, at least in terms of the list I'm looking at, for guys that would that you would want playing the nickel spot, I guess. I don't know. You would tend to probably want the. I would just think that if you're gonna have a shorter corner, you would want him to play the nickel because the slot receiver is usually shorter than the outside receiver, just generally speaking. So,
Hmm.
with that said, I think he. I mean, I don't know. There wasn't much to say about him in regards to what he does poorly. He seemingly does everything at a decent to high level. So with that, it's just understanding now that we have to figure out really where a team will finally be like, okay, we value that position enough to take it highly. And I don't know. There's teams like the Bills now with it feels like the end of the season we got something going there where it was basically consistently that we would only have 2 linebackers on the field, 5 defensive backs, and 4 D linemen, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
I mean that worked for us, and if teams want to do that, if teams want to have a 5th defensive back that's just standard issue on the field against like almost every set the offense is running against you, then this type of guy could be a really important contributor to your team.
I had him at 11 on my list because like the same reason you have him, probably not as high as he should be. Because if I could, he'd probably be up in top five, 3 or 5 for me. He does his job to the best. Like he's the best nickel corner.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I know. It's
and
such a weird. It's so weird. I know. That's what I was trying to say. It's hard to describe the issue here.
yes, it's just I left him off my list because it's really hard to put a value on him, especially like I don't know what team there may be a team I would hope there's a team because he's really good that can pull the trigger in the second round and be like, "Yep, we want our nickel corner to be one of the best," and then get him. But he might fall to a day 3 pick just because the team's like, yeah, we don't value nickel corner that much. We want to have 3 linebackers on the field or 4 linebackers on the field.
No,
Uh,
yeah. If I'm telling you, if I was the GM right now, I would definitely like if he got into round 2 at all, like no matter where I'm picking in round 2, unless I have an elite level slot corner, I'm I would be very scared to not pull the trigger on him.
yes, yes. He seems like a very surefire thing. Like you watch him and know exactly what you're getting. You're going to get a guy that will lock down any slot receiver or tight end or anything that he's put on because he didn't get out physical by like anyone.
Yeah.
So it seems like transitioning between tight end and wide receiver isn't going to change anything for him.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, it's just I mean, this is just I mean, talking about these guys, like it's interesting to see where they're all going to end up and what teams
mhm.
they're going to end up with. But talking about the cornerback position specifically, I am most interested to see what team picks him and when he is drafted.
Yes, yes.
I'm like I have no idea. I really have no idea.
Mhm. Uh, I think I did. I put in my notes. I'm like, if someone takes him in the first round, it will be the Raiders. Which
Wow.
I'm not,
Oh, okay. So that
because the
basic
Raiders.
that's like trash talking a player at this point
No, no,
because
no,
it's
no,
like
no, no.
the Raiders are so bad at drafting that okay,
I'm
if I think somebody's going to make a bad
that's
pick.
that's not what I meant by it. I just meant like the Raiders are going to have that one pick where you have Rich Eisen and all the other guys that are sitting at the table go whoa, and
I
it'd be
kind of
like
I
the
get what
Raiders drafted. It would just be such a Mike Mayock Gruden thing to draft a nickel corner in the first round.
I I get what you're saying,
I'm not
but
insulting him at all. He's
no,
very,
no,
very
no,
good.
no, 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 but I think the Raiders have shock value for the opposite reason usually. Like if the Raiders were to do something goofy this year, it would be that they just traded all those linemen for seemingly no reason and then they go lineman first round. That's more the type of thing that I would expect them to do. I don't think the shock value would be like what you're saying with this. I really don't I don't see him going to the Raiders like at all.
Okay. No, I haven't. I don't really know the composition of the Raiders roster that well, but
Well, I mean, we'll
I
get
just had
around
that.
to it when we do the
Yes,
Raiders.
exactly. I just had that there's a little joke like, oh yeah, this nickel corner because the list I looked at, he was being discounted a lot. Like he was down there at the bottom of most lists. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're just discounting him because he's nickel corner. You're not discounting him because
To be
he's
fair, you did too because you didn't even put him in your top 10.
well, yeah, but I didn't have him at 20. I had him at 11. Uh,
Whatever. You literally just did that just so you'd be right outside, just so you'd have a safety net. You
uh,
wanted to put him all the way down at 40. You were like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
5'10"? Who's this guy?
I want anyone. I only want guys that are 6'1" or taller.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Heightest.
yeah. At at number 5 for me, I got Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech.
Really? Oh, okay.
Uh, 6'2", 200, 210 pounds. Sorry. Uh, what I wrote was he just sticks to guys like glue. He rarely, if ever, gets beat in man. He gets some of the picks that he gets are really easy, and that boosts his stats a lot too and makes him look. He's good, but if you just purely look at the stats, you'd be like, "Whoa, this guy's elite," and it's not that. It's just, he gets some pretty easy picks.
Wait, can I just interject one thing here?
Yeah.
To be fair, um, him and Patrick Surtain, every single one of the plays that you're talking about, where it was wow, Caleb Farley just got an easy pick there. It felt like Patrick Surtain dropped that same ball.
Yes. 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 Yes.
It was just like, oh, okay.
Uh, But the picks that and this is something he could be even higher. The picks that he gets that aren't easy are because he is on top of the guy that he is playing, and the QB, if they do not put the ball on a dime to that receiver, he is at the minimum breaking the play up, if not jumping that route completely and picking the ball off. Just he smothers guys, especially in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Uh, And that's all I got on him. That's all I got to say about him.
Alrighty, now I can talk about Mr. DBU, not because he went to defensive back university, like LSU or whatever school anyone may interpret that to be, but Mr. Patrick Surtain from the second from Alabama. Uh, he literally is playing defensive back because he cannot catch the football. Now, everything else, absolutely amazing. Tight coverage, solid form tackler. He's aggressive with his hand play too. But I mean, just he does everything well, but then it's like, okay, and now the pass is thrown directly into his arms, and oh, it's incomplete. Yeah, no, it's just an issue for him, and um, he's in this great tier because he really I really was impressed with how well he played, but um, that that just the fact that he can't catch a pick at all is the reason that he's staying below the other top three guys.
Yeah, I thought it was he's on my list, so I'll talk about him when I get to him. But it's funny because I looked up his dad's stats too, uh, like while I was watching him, and with how bad his hands are, it's funny because his dad never went a season in the NFL without getting at least one pick, and his dad played from '98 to '08 and had at least one pick every single year.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting.
yeah, I just thought that that was funny. Where it's like, wow, dude, couldn't catch your. I know that you wanted your son to be a defensive back, couldn't teach him how to catch though. Uh, at number four for me, I got Ifeatu Melifonwu, from Syracuse. You said that he's a tackling corner, and I agree. Uh,
Okay,
he,
good. We're on the same page.
yes, he is a tackling corner. He is very physical with what he does. It's the same thing as Trill Williams. They are both very physical during routes. They shove and grab and pull and rip and poke and everything during it. Uh he hits really hard in the run game and in like bubble screens or short routes. He takes excellent and it's awesome to see it because as Bills fans, we had to watch AJ Klein for a while. Some of the angles he would take would just get me infuriated. And to see a young guy like this take phenomenal angles every single time, it's like, okay, all right, that's great. He's a huge help with the run game. Uh, he's stronger than every single receiver that goes against him. He doesn't get out muscled. Now, will that translate to the NFL when he's going up against guys that are older than him and stronger than him? Probably not. But at the college level, he was like the strongest dude in his one-on-ones. He attacks the ball very well, but that aggressiveness does cause receivers to. He had a couple plays where it was like a Marcus Williams type play, Stephon Diggs down the sideline touchdown, where it's just like,
Wait. You're trash talking this guy more than you talk. More than you've trash talked like multiple guys behind him, so I'm confused.
no, I absolutely love him though. I love tackling corners.
Okay.
He brings the juice. He brings the juice. That's why I have him
Okay,
this high.
okay, hang on. Is there any reason that he like let's just say I don't know what you see his weight as, but I see his weight as like 213. If he put like 12 or 17 pounds on, is there no reason that he couldn't play linebacker?
Oh,
Like,
he'd be an awesome linebacker.
would he be a better linebacker than he would a corner?
Probably.
So why is he playing corner?
because he is awesome at it. He hurts people at
No,
corner.
no, you see, I don't get that. And it's hesitant, and people are hesitant to do this at the NFL. But if I had him on my roster, I would legitimately think about like being like, "Hey, just come over here." Like not telling him beforehand, but just being like, "Yeah, first day of training camp, he's like, DBs, come over here." And then it's like, then like one coach pulls him aside and says, "Actually, you're headed over there today," and it just points at the linebackers. It's just like, Coach, I'm a corner. It's like you're headed over there today. It's just
Yeah,
like,
I think a transformation like that would be a process. It'd probably be something where it starts like, why don't you work with the safeties a little bit? And it's like, all right, well, you're kind of more of like a box safety, so let's move you. Let's move you. Or why don't you do some work with the linebackers? Help you out being a box. All right, you're a linebacker now. I think that's kind of the process that would have to go into. Yeah, I don't think I understand. It would be a lot easier and way less time if you just go, all right, yep, you're a linebacker, go over there. But I think if they
dude, I'd do it. I'd do it
no,
so quickly.
I probably wouldn't hesitate either. I mean, I love seeing physical freaks at positions, so I think it would be funny to see like a 225 corner, 6'3", 225 corner go out there against DK Metcalf and just if hit him. Uh,
Wait,
but
does the thing you're looking at say he's 225?
No, no, no. I'm just
Oh,
saying if
okay.
he puts on some more weight,
Oh,
if he
okay.
puts on some more weight, if he's 6'3", 225, that'd be awesome.
I was gonna say if he's
But
225, he's already heavy enough to be a linebacker.
no, 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 no. From everything that I've seen, he's like around the 210 ish
Okay,
area.
yeah,
So
that's what I'm seeing. Uh, no, but I don't know why you say that, because why would you, if your end goal is to get him to a linebacker position, why would you bother to even mess around and say go to the safeties first or something?
I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying that's probably what an NFL team would do because it would just be like, well, I mean, we gotta do it. It just seems like one of those stupid things.
Yeah, I guess you're probably right there. That was number 4 for you?
Yes.
All right. Number 3 for me is J.C. Horn. And guess what? Just like every other guy on this list, basically, great size and length is the first thing of note.
Mm-hmm.
The reason J.C. Horn ranks so high for me, even arguably could be higher, but he's in this great tier still. So, um, he in the game against Auburn, he had as many highlights in that game alone, swatting passes down, getting interceptions, making tackles for losses. He had as many highlights in that game as some of these other guys I watched had for a whole season. I was just
Yes.
like, yeah. If he could do that in a game, yes, he's ranking very high for me. And I don't know. The one thing I was kind of didn't didn't look at the stats for these guys, but the stats were interesting. I don't know if he's had limited game experience though, so that's kind of interesting, something to look at. I wasn't really sure. There was something weird about his stats. Like he didn't have a lot of either stats, or he didn't have many games played, or something strange, because it was just within the video I was watching, it showed some of the stats. I was like, that's interesting. So I don't really know about that, but I mean, everything that I saw from him, especially in how limited of a time I had to see it, it was just like, wow, if he's able to do that in one game, then yeah, I'm very happy with him. I would be very happy picking him high.
Uh, yeah, and he's on my list as well, so I'll add more to the conversation when I get to him. Uh, and yeah, at 3 for me, I've got Patrick Surtain the second. Uh, he intelligence wise, like at the core position, nothing to say bad about him. He's very patient, very decisive with everything he does, really smart. He anticipates what's going to happen as soon as the ball is snapped. He makes a lot of changes on the fly, uh, and does them seamlessly. He has stone hands though. That's a thing I wrote in all caps. Stone hands. there's very little tape to see on his senior year, and that's just because people like he was a shutdown corner and they would not throw the ball to him near him at all. And he's a good tackler. He's all around a good corner. It's just I understand that they say you play defensive back or you play corner because you can't catch, and he just keeps that stereotype alive.
That's what I was saying. DBU. It's where he studied. He was like, "All right, we've practiced for 10 hours today, coach. Should we hit the jugs machine yet?" And it's like, "Nope, we don't use that thing. That's for receivers."
Come on, come over here. I got some tape. Let me make those hands clubs real quick.
We got Stickum. You can put that on before the game.
It'll blend in right with the crimson.
Yeah, yeah. My number
yeah.
two guy. My number two guy. I think this actually changed from how I think I talked a little bit about how I ordered like the top few guys for the cornerback position when we did the mock draft. I think I changed this order. So number two, well, actually, I probably changed a lot of the order, but number two for me now is Asante Samuel Jr. And I think that he's the best zone corner in the draft, and he is besides he actually is an outside corner, but he is actually one of the normal looking outside corners, whereas he's 5'10 and 184, and he doesn't seemingly have any, he doesn't look like a ridiculous freak like all these other guys do, just like huge for what we expect normally in the NFL. But does a great job watching the QB, reading their eyes, and sniffing out all sorts of plays. Like, it doesn't matter what he's running, what the other team is running. His play rec is exceptional, from what I've seen. And usually, and I think I mentioned this when we were talking about the safeties, is one of the reasons I probably like safeties so much is that you usually get guys that are really good at recognizing plays playing the safety position, and that's why I like watching them so much, is because they'll be so quick to react to things. And even though Asante Samuel is playing corner and he's not playing safety, it feels like those same instincts that I would usually see on a safety are with him, and I really like seeing that. Plus, he's also like I said, I think best zone cover corner in the draft probably.
hmm yeah, I have him at number two as well. I thought he was a complete ball hawk. Like he was just always there. Um, one thing that I also wrote, doesn't look like he was made in a lab, because he looks like a normal corner. Like he looks like a normal corner prospect any other year. Uh, but with also looking normal and not being as huge as the other guys, he had a lot of suplex tackles that
Yeah,
he was just dropping guys on their heads.
he's looking for
Uh,
those 15-yard penalties.
yeah, and I'm just thinking, I absolutely love him, but he kind of needs to change that before he gets to the NFL.
Whoa, no, no, no! I love that. That's my favorite part.
Yes, I love stopping them on third and long and then giving them a first down, because you just had RKO the guy that gained 3 yards on third and
I
15.
mean, to be fair, we're talking about. I'm just thinking about this now. Sorry, this is kind of like a completely random thought here, but like we're talking about Patrick Surtain before the second and how he has his stone hands, and then we got Asante Samuel Jr. here, who's not really known for stone hands, but his father did have kind of like the most well-known dropped interception of all time, like in the Super Bowl, that would have made the Patriots 19-0 if he just caught it on the sideline. So just thought I'd throw that in there. That's kind of funny to think about, considering both these guys had fathers in the NFL and have the same name.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you see it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Asante Samuel. He also had an interception every year of his career, but I mean,
But the one
his
he
son
didn't
isn't.
get.
Yeah, the one he didn't get. But his son isn't plagued with stone hands, so I mean, I don't know how big of a deal that is.
Nah, yeah, it's not too much of a concern. I'm pretty sure he'll be. I mean, we're both high on him. We both have him at number two. So number
Who
one
do
now.
you? Yeah, who do you got at one?
Did you not figure it out? Were you not keeping track of my list?
Oh, it's Caleb Farley.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you know. Yeah, you know. Wow, you're good. I don't keep track of your list enough to really know. I mean, you could put some random guy at I, I don't know. Wait, did you talk about Tyson Campbell yet? Did you talk about him?
No, I did not.
Okay. So it's him?
No, it is not.
Wait, what? He's not on your list at all?
No, he is not.
Oh, what? I thought you said he was. Oh, jeez. No, I can't do this. If I keep doing this, I'm just going to go down a rabbit hole. Let me talk about Caleb Farley. All right, super tight man-to-man corner, just like Patrick Surtain. Like very similar, these guys. Even after long scramble drills, he's still really tight coverage on guys, and I think that's probably what got him at number one for me, was the fact that there were multiple instances where there were plays that would be broken down, and it's like all these other cornerback prospects, if you're going to see a pass break up, it's going to be within 3 seconds after the ball is snapped. Farley would be in coverage for 8 seconds and still be locked on the guy's hip and then swat the ball down. And there were like 3 or 4 plays where that happened exactly. And I was like, if he can lock down for that long, I have no doubt that he can lock down like just for the 3 seconds you need to on the average NFL player, whatever you have. And then he's great at getting his hands in the ball path. And I think, yeah, I mean, just that part of it was really it. It was just that, the fact that he was able to stick with guys for so long, which is not something that you see everybody else doing. When other guys make plays, they're usually made fairly quickly after the snap, and he, even long after the snap, was able to make plays happen. That's what got him to number one for me.
Yeah. I for me it's very close between 5 and 1. So Caleb Farley could probably be anywhere in between there. But
Oh, that's
I
that's
do enjoy
that's
him.
why I tacked on the tiers to my list to make, yeah, because yeah, like you said, I my 5 to 1 is all my great tier.
Uh, Now let me tell you, the guy. It's not Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell for me is at 13 on my
Wait,
list.
can you go from 10 to 2 again, just quickly for
10
me?
to 2. Ambry Thomas, Greg Newsome, Robert Rochelle, Eric Stokes, Trill Williams, Caleb Farley, Efetu Melifonwu, Patrick Surtain II, Asante Samuel Jr.
Okay, is it J.C. Horn?
It is J.C. Horn at the.
Okay,
I have
sorry.
three sons of NFL players up at my top three.
That's my bad. I should have realized that you hadn't mentioned him yet.
Uh J.C. Horn, he has an advantage over all these other guys, and that is he had a father that was in the NFL at wide receiver. So he's inherited great
So what
hands.
I'm
All
saying
right.
is, I didn't watch any tape on him.
I just know that he's going to be good. No, no, no. He inherited great hands, and also his older brother is also in the NFL as a wide receiver. I think he's on the Ravens practice squad.
I didn't know that.
So he's had a lot of time in his life to go up against some of the best, and I mean, especially when your dad's in the NFL as a wide receiver. But the first thing that I wrote about J.C. Horn is this is a guy I want on my team. He he just gets down and dirty. Like I think the first play that I saw of his, or the first two, were sacks. I was like, what? Wait, that's weird. And they send him on blitzes a lot. It's awesome. Uh, he it's 6'1", 205. He's a bit on the bigger end too, so that's awesome. Uh, and you'd think that's like, oh, so he's just like only good in like run support, only blitzes. Nah, 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 nah. He jumps routes like he knew, like he was in the offensive huddle. He just jumps them all the time. Almost all of his picks, he jumped the route. Saw very little, if any, picks that were easy for him. Uh, yeah, and then the last thing I wrote, having a dad and brother that were in the NFL or that were NFL receivers gives him a huge advantage in development. So I he's a stud. I love him.
I agree. No, yeah. So what I was talking about earlier, I just looked it up while you were talking about him, since I mentioned it. Uh, South Carolina played 5 games this year, and like I said, it's kind of hard to know how many games each team has played, but they played 5 games, so He had 16 total tackles, and realistically, the only other stat he had column in was he had 2 picks, 6 passes defended too. Sorry, didn't mention
I
that.
think both of those picks were in the same game too.
Yeah, they were because they were both in the Auburn game, which is the game
Hmm.
that I was like, holy crap, he's
Yes.
literally all over the field, and it's only one game. But no, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It just the tackle numbers seemed low to me initially when I saw it, and that's why I mentioned it. But 5 games, 16 tackles. I mean, he's not allowing almost like any receptions at all near him, so I guess that kind of makes sense that his tackle numbers aren't that high. And
Hmm.
yeah, he's just yeah, I really like him as a player too. I think yeah. I mean, I think these top 5 guys that I think this is a very solid draft class for the corner position as well. I don't think it's bad
Yes.
at all.
Very, very, very deep class. At least in I think like the top 15 is very, very deep.
I think Afitu should be playing linebacker, not corner. But besides that, I mean, it seems pretty good.
He's been mocked to the Bills a lot too. So if the Brandon Bean pulls the trigger on it, I mean, I'd love it. I'd love
Okay,
him.
but no, don't do that though, because what that means. Well, I mean, there's one sit. Oh, sorry, I got a text message. I didn't. I should have muted that before we started. My bad. But
So unprofessional.
I literally am. Luckily, it's the end, so the close to the end of the podcast, so everybody knows. Um, no, but come on, we can't have him. If he's actually playing corner, then I guess my opinion is kind of stupid here. But we can't have him replacing Teron Johnson because Teron Johnson had the 2 most exciting plays of the Bills season last year. Um, so he can't be replaced just from that factor alone. Can't replace Matt Milano because we just paid Matt Milano a ton of money, and everybody else is loving Tremaine Edmonds, so we can't have him replace Tremaine Edmonds
But
either.
but you
I
think
don't
he's
I
a
don't
you
I
think
don't
he's a
love
nickel
Tremaine
corner?
Edmonds.
You think he's a nickel corner? You don't think he's an
No,
outside
no, no,
corner?
no, 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 no. That is not what I said. It's a compounding of things here. Because like I said, the Bills were running mostly last year sets with 3 corners on the field as a base set, right? Whereas usually you would have
Yes.
2 corners as a base set. So like I said, I want him to be a linebacker. So I mentioned Teron Johnson in that linebacker role because if you're running what we run, it's a 4-2-5, but if he replaces Teron Johnson and becomes a linebacker, then it's a 4-3.
Mm.
If he subs in for Edmonds or Milano, then it's still a 4-2-5. But I don't see him substituting in for those guys. I would see it as him replacing Teron Johnson, and I don't want him to replace Teron Johnson. And I really don't. I would prefer to have one of these other guys play outside corner for us. So yeah, I'm not really that interested in him. Like I wouldn't want to draft him as a corner, and I don't think it's a position of need at linebacker.
Alrighty. Alrighty.
Unless we want to change to getting away from the 4-2-5 look that we started running so heavily last year.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited to dig in on some other teams though. We got so
Yes.
many we got so many times where we can make connections to what the Bills are going to do and whatnot, but once we get into the portion of the off season where we actually have free agency basically concluded. I mean, free agency will go all the way through the off season, but most of the significant moves will be done. The draft will be over, and then we'll be able to actually dig in to each team individually. And we'll be done with school, so we'll have some real time to do it for the off
Yes.
season. Oh my gosh, it'll be a blast. That'll be so fun.
Hmm.
Figuring out who's better than we thought, and it's like, whoa, who's this guy we had never even heard of? That's a freaking baller. Uh, it'll be great.
Can't wait for it. That's the glory of this because it gives us more people to root for because fantasy football gives you guys to root for every team. I mean, you got your own team that you root for, but then you just got guys where it's like, whoa, I want to root for this guy. So
Yeah, no, I'm. Did Ronnie Harrison This is just a guy I'm randomly thinking of right now. Did Ronnie Harrison get injured last year at all when he was with the Browns? I mean, that's a really
I,
specific question. You may not know the answer. I should just Google it. That would be better. Do you know though?
I just looked it up. He only played in 11 games, so probably.
Yeah. So he was the guy I was really he was the guy when I was looking at Jacksonville last year that I was like, whoa, this guy's good. Like, why have I not heard of him before? And then he got traded to the Browns in the offseason. I was like, dude, he was like the only guy you had left on your roster besides like Kayla Chase and Josh Allen, because those were my two favorite draft picks. Um, then I was like, dude, why are you trading him? He's like one of your young good talents. And then when he went to the Browns last season, I didn't hear as much from him. But I only even found out about him from the Jags when I went through the offseason stuff of looking through like the Jags highlights and stats and stuff. And I was like, whoa, this guy's a baller. So yeah, he's the type of player looking forward to finding out more about though this offseason.
Hmm. Can't wait.
It'll be great. Uh, so anything else, or is that all?
I'm. I think we could just cut it here.